and we take proper care of that. We know everything that's happening, and we do that in a NATO context. Thanks God. 7 of the 8 Arctic countries are in NATO, and we have a perfect framework for increasing that tension, but we also need to do it. So there is this long-term Arctic Council type of activity that we like to keep alive. We also want to bring a stronger understanding and stronger focus on the more sort of hard security issues of the Arctic. But we who have been working on that, the collective we who's in this room, from Norway, from other countries, and experts from scientific community, from media, from politics, from business, who've been invested in this for a long time, we have a responsibility. And that responsibility, which of course I as a member of the government might have a little bit more than you, but we all have, is to welcome this new interest in the Arctic and try to help drive it and channel it into something that is somewhat more science-based and fact-based and based on the realities of the challenges that we are meeting. And this is very much what we're here to do today. And we have a superb panel. I will shut up now and leave it to the others, but I am extremely happy to be here, and I look forward to a candid conversation between people who all care, from Canada, from Greenland, from the European Union, from Sweden, and from the academic community on the complexity of Arctic questions, the opportunities, and what we all can do with it at this pivotal time in global conversations on our neighborhood. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much indeed, Foreign Minister Barth Eide. Thank you for setting the tone. We will indeed try to be as honest and candid as we can be about the state of affairs in the Arctic today. And as you say, the region is getting hotter in every possible way. Now, from Norway's high north to Canada's vast Arctic territories, what are the responsibilities there? What are the challenges facing indigenous communities and the communities that live in the Arctic in Northern America? What do they face as the region grows stronger and more strategic in its importance? It is my pleasure to now welcome Her Excellency, the Right Honourable Mary Simon, Governor-General of Canada.
I think it's morning. Good morning. Bonjour. Dignitaries, esteemed Arctic leaders and partners, it's a privilege to be here and with you today in the beautiful Sampi region of Norway. Arctic frontiers has never been more relevant. I am grateful for the moment discussions it has sparked to help shape the future of the Arctic. I grew up in Nunavik in northern Canada. My family's culture and way of life were inseparable from the land. We traveled by dog team or canoe. We picked berries and fished in the crystal waters of the George River, rich in Arctic char and Atlantic salmon. I remember how my grandmother, Jeannie, would turn on the shortwave radio and sometimes come across the beautiful Greenlandic Kallas Inuit songs on the BBC of all stations. She would say to us, I remember her as a child, when I was a child, she would say to us, "These are our relatives who live in faraway lands. We are all one people." Ma grand-mère décrivait les Inuits comme un seul grand peuple de l'Arctique. Indigenous peoples have long traveled and learned from one another with respect, curiosity, and a commitment to peace. We've shared the rich diversity of our cultures, arts, sports, spirituality. We've shared the fruits of our ingenuity and innovation. We've shared hardships too, the legacy of colonialism, the impacts of industrial development, and of course, the growing threats of climate change, which has been eroding food sources and traditional navigation routes. Yet, through every challenge, we've shared knowledge. We've supported and relied upon one another. This has given us the strength to stand united today and beyond. Life in the Arctic is shaped by relationships that have bound indigenous communities together for centuries. Ukioktatumi inututa tamannasivunigi simayavut katutigutigitsu kisianikajusisimayok. These strong connections will endure no matter what decisions are made in distant capitals. For decades, the Arctic was a rare, low-tension region where international cooperation prevailed, even when relations were strained elsewhere. For example, even when the Iron Curtain was in place, we developed our relationship with Inuit of Chukotka in Siberia. Today, the world sees the Arctic as a renewed, the world sees the Arctic as a region of renewed opportunity. International security issues are coming to the forefront. And now more than ever, we must uphold this tradition of collaboration and respect. Meaningful cooperation strengthened by Indigenous leadership has had a phenomenal impact over many years. Through the Arctic Council and other forums, Indigenous knowledge has driven science progress. It has inspired some of the Arctic's most ambitious environmental and wildlife stewardship initiatives. Indigenous peoples have permanent participant status in the Arctic Council. At this time, the Arctic Council is the only international organization that provides permanent participant status. Otherwise, we are invited as observers in other international forums. Respectful cooperation between Arctic states and Indigenous peoples has also strengthened diplomacy. It has helped resolve disputes peacefully. The 2022 boundary agreement on Hans Island between Canada, the Kingdom of Denmark, and Greenland is a notable example. It was achieved through patient, respectful negotiations that honored Inuit leadership. Time and again, work in the Arctic has demonstrated what can be achieved when cooperation is truly prioritized. Nous avons déjà démontré le pouvoir de la coopération dans l'Arctique. We are at a decisive moment in history. Challenges in the Arctic affect all peoples on Earth. More than ever, we recognize the profound interconnectedness of our world. We must continue to act together in a spirit of reconciliation and respect for Arctic communities. This is where our strength lies. We must stay true to our core values, championing human rights, sustainable development, environmental protection, and solidarity with our Arctic nations and NATO allies. A strong Arctic is one where Northerners have the tools and opportunities they need to thrive. It is an Arctic where Indigenous knowledge, leadership, and values guide our choices. It is an Arctic where Northerners, whether in Norway or Greenland, Kallas, Inuit, or anywhere else across the circumpolar region can continue shaping their own future. So I want to thank all of you for your work supporting Arctic communities and for helping the world understand that the future of the Arctic belongs to the people of the Arctic. Tomorrow, I will visit Denmark and then on to Greenland, Kalaallit. Let me be clear. Canada stands firmly in support of the people of Greenland who will determine their own future. Life in the Arctic has profoundly changed since my childhood. New realities, new technologies, new science. Yet today, amid rising tensions, one truth endures. The Arctic's greatest strength and stability lies in the resilience of its peoples. So whatever decisions are made next, whether advancing science research with indigenous knowledge, managing shipping routes, or strengthening defense systems, those efforts must be matched with investments in Arctic communities. Let us give them what they need to be truly self-reliant: food security, reliable infrastructure and housing, clean energy and connectivity, access to health care, including mental health, education, and sustainable livelihoods. It is young people I am thinking of most of all. Donnons aux jeunes de l'Arctique la chance de bâtir leurs avenirs dans des communautés fortes. Let us continue giving Arctic youth every opportunity to build healthy, fulfilling lives in a sustainable Arctic, grounded in their cultures and languages, and in their deep relationship with the land and with one another. Thank you. Merci. Goedenamiddag.
Governor General Simon, thank you very much. Merci beaucoup. Thank you for reminding us that this is indeed a decisive moment for the Arctic, not for every state in the Arctic only, but for the indigenous communities, and as you say, for the youth, the vibrant youth that make up such a big proportion of the Arctic. A time of renewed opportunity, you called it, a time for solidarity with Greenland, and a time for respectful cooperation between Arctic states and the Arctic indigenous communities. Now, from Canada, we turn our attention to Greenland, which of course has recently been at the center of heated, intense global attention. How is Greenland steering its way through the Arctic Council with its leadership role amid these rising geopolitical tensions with the United States, with so many competing priorities? How does Greenland aim to build the trust, the stability that is needed in the Arctic? Please join me in welcoming Vivian Motzfeldt, Foreign Minister and Minister of Research of Greenland.
Excellencies and friends, thank you for giving me this space and opportunity at this year's Arctic Frontiers, together with my esteemed fellow panelists, to say a few words.